welcome to the intro. I'm Davenant Doyle. Today on the show, we're featuring hardcore punk band Mvll Crimes. They are a 4-piece satire-laced truth bomb. Here's Mvll Crimes with Arguing with Strangers. Thank you so much for being here today.
We're so stoked to be here.
Not as stoked as I am. Okay, let's dive right into that song you just played. Okay, so there's nothing more satisfying but less gratifying than arguing with strangers on the internet. So what is your current stance of arguing with strangers? Do you engage?
It is my catnip. I cannot leave it alone. Depending on the topic, which is up for discussion, I got to get in there. However, I've modified my strategy a little bit recently, whereas I used to invest like days at a time. I'm just going to argue until this person will obviously see how correct I am. Right now, I'll like get in there, I'll say my piece, and I get out, and I'll stop following the comments so I don't have to pay it any mind.
So I love the dynamic you and the band have. Can you introduce everybody?
Let's go alphabetical. So Evan on the skins, Lori, bass master, Patrick on guitar.
So how did you all meet and start playing in a band together?
I think officially we met when I worked at APK. I feel like I met each of you individually when I was working at that now defunct bar. And then once I moved on from there, there was this wonderful arts collective space, no longer exists in London, called East Village Arts Collective. And I would just book all the bands these mugs were in as often as they would play. So I feel like we kind of got in touch that way. When Pat first presented this project, because he really is the catalyst for Mvll Crimes, we really wanted, the best bass player we know and the best drummer we know to play with us. And, we couldn't be more happy. That's exactly what we did.
So policing is another major theme in your music and on social media. What about that is so important to you that you're incorporating it into everything that you do?
Sure. This is a great question. And I think if I could summarize my attitude about modern policing, without sinking the rest of the time we have together and just discussing this topic, it's, in my mind, the extension of white supremacy and protecting property and breaking up organized labor and honestly just fulfilling the whims of the wealthy and the elite. So as a punk band, I think the police is a pretty visible symbol of an institution that requires dismantling.
And that leads us straight into this very next song called Bootlicker's Delight. What a great name for a song. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Absolutely. So Bootlicker's Delight was written after a long day of arguing with strangers on the internet. I was trying to change some hearts and minds about why defunding the police is actually like a really awesome idea. Minimal to no success, as discussions on the internet often are, but I was really steamed, and instead of just, letting it ruin my day, I just sort of started writing down satirical lyrics about, what would the day-to-day of someone who is a total bootlicker, but also maybe, like, literally enjoys licking boots? Like, what would that life be like? And thus, Bootlicker's Delight was born.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed that so much. Okay, let's get to the EP. The name of the EP is You Embarrass Me, and I know there's a pretty great backstory to that. Could you let me know?
So in the very first Fast and the Furious movie, Dom Toretto's character pulls a guy off of Paul Walker's character. And when he's doing that, when he's pulling his boy off, he turns to him and he says, "You embarrass me!" And it's presented in such a way that you're like, absolutely, this is going to be this character's catchphrase throughout the franchise. Like, cannot wait to hear Vin Diesel say that again. But it's the only time he ever says it. And it's such an incredible expression. We just wanted to give it a bit more of a platform, give it a bit more of the air and the flowers it deserves.
Can you let me in on your writing process a little bit? I know that you write the lyrics first, and then what happens with the rest of the song?
I was given this really wonderful advice at some point. You know, if you have a good idea for something, write it down right away. And as a result of that, my phone is now full of these like half-finished songs and like one or two sentences, all of these little notes. So if I have something good, when I usually have something fleshed out, either I'll come to Patrick Or Patrick will come to me and he'll be like, check out this. And it will be like a sick riff, right? And I'll be like, I think I've got something for that. And then we'll hash it out. We'll record it and we will present it to the rhythm section and they'll put their own finishing touches on it. And then it turns into a song that we really like playing.
Punk music has had a long history in activism, and your music is steeped with that. How do you incorporate the things that you care about into this band and into the music you're writing?
Yeah, well, I think it's very easy to be discouraged and overwhelmed and made to feel hopeless, you know, given the current climate. And I'm so grateful to have an outlet where I can kind of address some of those feelings and also feel like I'm doing something about them in some small way. You know, if I'm writing a song about an issue someone really cares about and that song in any way gives that person relief, I feel like we're fulfilling our job, essentially. I feel like we're doing a good deed. That's a net positive.
So you currently work with the City of London. Would you ever consider yourself running for politics? Do you think it's something you can change from the inside out?
Yeah, ding dong. So here's the thing, right? You can't dismantle the master's house using the master's tools. Mm-hmm. So to really have widespread change, we're not going to vote ourselves out of, you know, the climate crisis. But in the meantime, there are countless people dying needlessly every single day. And I think there are things that we can do to raise the quality of living for the most vulnerable. And I feel really that is like where politics should be directing the most effort, is to, you know, the tide lifts all boats. And in that regard, maybe not myself necessarily, but just more punks in general, I think should be involved in politics.
So the next album is going to be called Punks for Politics.
Yeah. Chumbawamba has an album called Never Mind the Ballots. So I don't know if we're going to have an album that's that good in terms of a title, but the name of that album is pretty great. So I don't know if we can come up with something quite that strong, but we can try.
Tell me about this next song you're going to play, Checkin Out.
This song is about fulfilling the middle-class dream, doing all the things that you need to do, whatever that happens to be for you as an individual, and still feeling some kind of lack of fulfillment and just the weight of constantly feeling like you're swimming against the current.
That was Mvll Crimes. What a blast of pure energy. I loved it. If you want to know more about Mvll Crimes, head on over to cbcmusic.ca/theintro.